You know, there's a debate on the internet concerning uh, whether Pro Tools, the DAW, is actually the standard, and people go back and forth, back and forth. Even me, I did a post on that on YouTube about how Pro Tools is the standard. I heard a gentleman say the other day that Pro Tools is the standard because it's everywhere. Now that's good. It's the standard because it's everywhere. And I can go to any studio in the world and work because I know that Pro Tools is there. Every studio doesn't have all the other apps. All the other apps are good too. I like them. They're more like pre-production, and that's good. Get a lot of the work out of the way before you record the stuff. Get it right before you record it. But the one thing that I'm noticing about those people who say, "Oh, Pro Tools isn't the DAW. Pro Tools isn't this. Pro Tools isn't that," they're all claiming that Fruity Loops or Ableton Logic, that's good. That's fine. That's great. But really, those ones who love that Fruity Loops, and Fruity Loops sounds great. I love it. But I don't use Fruity Loops the way everybody else uses Fruity Loops. Well, not everybody. A lot of people who use Fruity Loops, they use that same 808 kit, the same 808 hi-hat, the same 808 is not the bass. 808 is the series of sounds. Same 808 bass, same 808 kick drum, same 808 snare, same 808 clap, same speeds. And I like it. I mean, I like the way they sound. They sound great. But the ones who are saying, "Oh, Pro Tools isn't this and Pro Tools isn't that," 9 times 10, they're all making the same music. Or most of them are making the same music. Only a few of them will actually go out there and try something different. But most of them are all making that same sprinkler hi-hat, which is, I love that. I love it. But that's what everybody's doing. And it's almost like 10 years late. They've been doing it for 10 years. And they're still doing it, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, Pro Tools isn't this, or Pro Tools isn't that." That's your own choice. But what makes Pro Tools the standard is because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's the same everywhere. It doesn't change. I can use the old 10-year-old version, 20-year-old version of Pro Tools, and it's yeah, they're all doing like the same types of music or using the same sounds, and they all sound alike. Maybe I shouldn't say all, but a lot of them, they sound alike. They just, I don't know. It's like about time I listen to a person's song, I already kind of know where it's going. They might have a different melody, and all the melodies pretty much sound like some a dirty synth somewhere, and it's cool. I'm just saying it all sounds alike. Um, Before you start talking about how Pro Tools isn't this and Pro Tools isn't that, think about what kind of music you're playing. Think about that. Pro Tools is the well, okay, let's go back to digital. Was it DAW? Digital Audio Workstation, right? And so when it's a digital audio workstation, it's not necessarily saying that it's a digital MIDI workstation. Think about that. It's not talking about that. It's not talking about pre-production workstation. No, when you're in Pro Tools, you're ready to record. Now, Pro Tools or Avid has allowed us to be able to do some MIDI, to do some drums, do some sampling, to do some things with plugins and all that. That's wonderful. But when it's all said and done, when you get to Pro Tools, it's time to actually record. It's time to work. It's not time to write, if you will. Now you can. That's what I do. I get in Pro Tools and I write it. Write whatever I'm writing, or the song or the parts, and then I convert all of that MIDI to audio inside of Pro Tools. That's what I do. And so I get a lot of younger guys who try to act like, oh yeah, yes, you know, it's your standard because you're older. Okay. Well, my music don't sound like everybody else's music. I don't use the same sounds as everybody else is using. The one thing about Pro Tools, it keeps you in the mindset of an engineer some kind of way. It makes you think about routing. It makes you think about what you're adding to the sound to get the source right before you record it. That's a wonderful thing. Um, it's a digital audio workstation. Recording audio is what Pro Tools does, and it does it well. Now, all this other stuff, it allows you to do some pre-production things. It'll allow you to, like I said, some sampling. It allows you to work with some plugins and do a great amount of things. But Pro Tools is the standard, man. Now, if you have another, or matter of fact, hear about this. How about this? How about you buy Pro Tools and make it the way you want it to be? And then we'll all sit there and applaud you. But we already have Fruity Loops. We already have Logic. We already have all these other pre-production DAWs, if you will. We do. We have them already. So why do you want Pro Tools to be like everybody else? Why would you want Fruity Loops to be like everybody else? They're not. They're a different breed. So, regardless of what you say, I don't care. No matter what the language, no matter what the country, you go in a studio, you'll find Pro Tools. You won't find everything else. Everything else is available. That's why okay, here you go. That's why they bring their own laptops to the studio. Now, some studios will actually have these other DAWs just to, appease the clients or whatever. But generally, the clients who have those things have already done all the work elsewhere. Now it's time to record it. Now it's time to mix it. And where does it end up? Pro Tools. Pro Tools. That's where it ends. And so, yeah, I like Luna. I like Harrison Mix Bus. I have yet to try Logic. People tell me about Logic. I want to try it. I've heard some of the tracks in Logic. I've heard that organ in Logic. That sounds really good. But the people who use Logic, to me, they tell me, I got to learn Pro Tools. Hey, man, I've just been in, going on 24? No. 24 would be 2004. And then 27 years. Wow. I started doing that music thing on a serious journey to figure out how to do it 27 years ago. And so I tried, it wasn't Logic then, it was called something else. eMagic, I think is what it was called. Unsuccessful with it. I'm not saying it wasn't good, I'm just saying I wasn't successful with it. And then I actually bought a sampler. What was it? A K2000, Kurzweil 2000, K2000. And I used a sequencer in there. And then I would sample the vocals. I would go to the studio, do the vocals, sample the vocals into the sampler. And then I would arrange the song with samples and sequences out of the K2000. And it wasn't until I got a hold of Pro Tools. When I saw Pro Tools and I saw what it does, I said, I'm getting that. I'm getting that. I didn't know about it. I didn't know nothing, what to do in it. But then it was time to do a record, and I had to learn how to use Pro Tools within a good 30, 40 minutes, because we were in a fix. We had to get it done, and we couldn't wait. So Pro Tools has been good to me. Pro Tools is the standard. No matter where I've gone all over the world, Pro Tools was in the studio, the standard. Can't fight it. I'm out.